Welcome to another episode of our adventures. In this episode we leave the Atherton Tablelands and head west along the Savannah Way to Corumba on the Gulf of Carpentaria. We then turn south through Outback Queensland, stopping in Winton where we learn about the area's prehistoric past. At Longreach we turn east and visit Balcaldon, Emerald, BILOELA and Monto before heading back to the Sunshine Coast for Christmas with family. So come on then, let's get going. Is it warm?
Yeah.
Our first stop after leaving Atherton was INNOT hot springs. These are a geothermal spring and in some areas are scalding hot, so be careful where you enter the water. Don't just jump straight in. G'day guys. So here we are heading west. We're heading out along the Savannah Way. Last night we stayed at Mount Garnet and today we hope to get through to Georgetown. We've just stopped in at Mount Surprise for a little look and it's a pretty nice little town and we'll show you what else we find along the way. So we made it to the Cumberland Chimney free camp last night and it really is a great free camp, but it is stinking hot. It is really hot. It's the hottest we've been in our trip so far, and I think we've just jagged the wrong time of year to come here. But otherwise, we would have stayed around for a few days here. It's really nice. You can have fires. The dam's just behind our caravan there. There's all sorts of bird life. We saw spoonbills and storks and all sorts. So we're just going to push on to Corumba today, try and get ourselves a powered site with some air conditioning and watch the sunset tonight. Oh yeah, and forgot to mention the Cumberland Chimney. So just behind me is the Cumberland Chimney. This is an old mine site from the 1800s and the remnants of the chimney, which was for the steam engines, still stands behind us. And it's really worth a look, and the dam here was a man-made dam to feed the water needs for the mine, and it's still here today. This is Chris the Croc, a life-size replica of an 8.6 metre crocodile shot dead in 1957 by Christina Pulowski on the Normanton River, the largest ever recorded in Australia. We made it to Corumba after a long drive and settled in at the Corumba Point Sunset Caravan Park. Just a stone's throw from the Sunset Tavern, where we enjoyed a good feed, cold beer and an amazing sunset. A must-do in Corumba is to check out the Les Wilson Barramundi Discovery Centre. Entry is free, but you can pay $20 for a guided tour of the Barramundi farm. We all learn a lot about the barramundi and the local ecosystem. The kids loved the interactive displays. We were here a good couple of hours, mainly because the air conditioning was icy cold and it was stinking hot outside. This is the closest we got to catching a barramundi on our trip to the Gulf. After a few days in Corumba, we took off south towards Winton. We have never experienced a landscape so empty. We couldn't help but stop in at Crocodile Dundee's Walkabout Creek Hotel as we passed through McKinley. This is a great rustic pub with some fun Crocodile Dundee memorabilia. Now, how is this for an up-close encounter? Before now, we had only seen brolgers from a distance in Cape York and Corumba. We were surprised to see these guys just wandering around the Kayana Roadhouse.
Bread.
I ducked inside to pay for fuel, but on trying to leave I discovered I was being held to ransom. No.
Poor cat.
Don't you peck me.
Wow, look at it.
We learned that this guy had been hit by a car a few years ago and was nursed back to health by the owner of the roadhouse. As he can't fly, he is fed by the roadhouse staff. Some other brolgers have cottoned on to the handout, so they hang out here too. Apparently he gets a bit nasty when he's hungry and will not let anyone out of the roadhouse until he's had a feed. Luckily, a staff member came to our rescue and distracted him with some bread so we could escape. We arrived in Winton on a 38-degree day, so the first thing we did was check out the aquatic centre and water park. Entry is only $2 per adult and $1 per child. We had the whole place to ourselves, so even Tara and I got in on the action. They also have great barbecue facilities and hot showers. We even had time for some swimming lessons for the kids. Winton is the home of Waltzing Matilda, with Banjo Patterson writing the song there in 1895. The town hosts the Waltzing Matilda Centre as well as this statue of the Jolly Swagman. Another must-do while in Winton is to check out the musical fence. This is a public musical instrument made from a wire fence. Other instruments have been added to the installation and we all had fun testing them out. Now this is something we have been looking forward to the whole trip, the Lark Quarry Dinosaur Trackways. Perfectly preserved footprints of a dinosaur stampede from 95 million years ago, when 150 small dinosaurs were chased by a large two-legged carnivore. The experience is very well put together, with a guide taking you through the animated recreation of the events. You are then taken through to the trackways, where it feels like these events could have happened just yesterday. The landscape around here is like nowhere else, and there are some great walks around the conservation park. Lark Quarry is 110 kilometres from Winton, including 45 kilometres of unsealed road. During our time at Winton, we stayed at the Mistake Creek Free Camp just outside of town. This was nothing fancy, but it was spacious and quiet with a great view of the beautiful Outback sunsets. Our next dinosaur experience was the Age of Dinosaurs Museum, perched atop the jump up just south of Winton. The road in is all sealed and we had no problem towing the van up. More dinosaur bones are found in Winton than anywhere else in Australia, so it makes sense to have a processing facility in the area. We really enjoyed the tour of the laboratory and learning how the fossilised bones were separated from the rock.
Most of the time in the lab, especially over the surface of the bones, because this works in a very similar way to...
Next up was the collection room. Here we learn about Banjo and Matilda, a herbivore and carnivore species found together in the same dig site. Thought to have died together, both these species have not been found anywhere else in the world.
It is. It's almost an hour. It's about 40 odd minutes. So those two sections are part of it, but then it also covers other.
We then catch a ride to the other side of the jump up to see the Dinosaur Canyon. This is where the dinosaurs come to life, and you can really imagine what they were like 95 million years ago.
skin came out of the armpit, stretched all the way up to the finger bone and would have started there.
The tour was really well put together, and the kids even got an activity book with lots of information, puzzles and quizzes. That's our homeschooling sorted for the week. We arrived in Longreach, and being October, we found that most of the attractions had closed for the season, including the Stockman's Hall of Fame. We were disappointed to say the least, as this was high on our list of things to do in Outback Queensland. However, we still enjoyed exploring the town and learning its history. We stayed for a few days out at a great low-cost camp at the Apex Park for $5 a night and stocked up on supplies at the first Woolworths we had come across since leaving Atherton. Balcoldon is the home of the Tree of Knowledge, which was the centre of the shearers' strikes of the 1870s and the birthplace of the Australian Labor Party. Close to Balcoldon is the Lake DUNN Sculpture Trail, which is a 200-kilometre circuit starting in Aramac. Scattered along the way are 40 unique sculptures by local artist Melinda Rogers. The trail would be best split over 2 days, with a camp at Lake Dunn to break it up. The second half of the trail is dirt roads, and we weren't ready to get the van dirty again just yet, so we left the van back in Balcoldon and just did half the circuit. We still got to see plenty of great sculptures and had a nice picnic at the lake. Our next stop was a great little donation camp in Jericho called REDBANK Park. The grounds are well kept by the local council, so the kids took advantage and cooled off under the sprinklers.
Is it nice?
Did you put that there? Another great free camp along the way was Doringa Rest Area. It offers toilets, hot showers and a playground for the kids. If you're into old cars and machinery like me and the boys, then definitely check out Queensland Heritage Park in BILOELA. There is a great indoor heritage display and a great range of cars, tractors and machinery in the sheds and outdoor areas. There is a nice low-cost camp here too, with unpowered sites for $10 and powered for $15. If bushwalking is more your thing, then Kenya Gorge is for you. There is a variety of walks for all fitness levels. We checked out the 2-story cave walk, which was plenty strenuous enough on a 35-degree day.
Is this the 2-story cave? Nope. Preface. I'll go have a look at the other side. I'm going to
Go up and I'll take a picture of this.
If you continue past the gorge, there is a great picnic area at Kenya Dam and the lake is perfect to cool off in after a long walk. Instead of staying in the overpriced caravan parks at Kenya Gorge, we stayed at the Monto low-cost stopover for $5 a night. The street and silo art in Monto is the best we've ever seen. We were getting close to our hometown, so we decided to see out the busy Christmas holidays staying in family and friends' front yards. We also picked up a couple of house sits, which were a very nice change after 6 months living in the van. And that's it for our Outback Queensland adventure. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the next leg, where we head down the New England Highway to the Hunter Valley.